Some woman using my instrument to wash them. Some woman using my instrument to wash them.
Well, can you imagine that?
Well, what you gonna play?
Tomorrow.
This man gonna play the next dance. It's gonna be Josephine de Pamaphone.
You hear that? All right. Let's tighten up here, baby. We call this tighten up. Tighten up. Sit in there. Let's tighten up.
This music of mine that I'm playing, it's called Zydeco, Zydeco music. Zydeco music comes from the Creole country of Southwest Louisiana, down in Southwest Louisiana, down Lafayette, Louisiana. All the small towns like Dusson, Scott, Opelousas, very, very small towns is where this music comes from. And a lot of people was wondering about Zydeco music. Well, you heard Cajun music, you heard Creole music. This is a part of a family of Creole music. And Zydeco music comes from families that were the black French-speaking families from Southwest Louisiana known as Creoles. And then a lot of the white folks down at Southwest Louisiana were known as Cajuns. So you got the Cajuns, you got the Creoles. Back then, my grandpa, grandma, they all were, my grandmother was from Haiti. She was Creole French from Haiti, she was Haitian. And she spoke Creole French. My grandfather spoke Creole French. They sung all their music in French. So the Creole music was basically French music, whether it was Creole, whether it was blues, whether it was rock and roll, they sang their tunes in French. My grandmother's Haitian, she never could speak English. My grandfather had to translate to what my grandmother was saying. And but when they pulled the instruments out, it was the accordion and this thing called the washboard. This was the life of the party of Zydeco music. So that was our music called Creole French music. As a kid, I was 10 years old, and I used to hear my dad and them play at rehearsals all the time, and it was just the accordion, the washboard, and the fiddle. I had cousins that was playing fiddle at the time too. And they would sit down after work and they would start playing their instruments. And that was the life of the party for them. So when you came to hear Zydeco music, which they call today, and it's French Creole music from Southwest Louisiana. The man used to call his music, sing his music, it was called Zydeco. Les haricots sont pas salés means snap beans are not salty in French. Les haricots sont pas salés. And he would sing it all the time. Les haricots sont pas salés, les haricots sont pas salés. And he said, you know what, it's time to name the music. I don't have a name for this music we play in French music. We call it la la, la la is a dance, a waltz, you know. But he said, I need a name for the music. So he said, Zydeco, 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 yes. He rhymed it with Zydeco. So he finally named it in 1955. I'm gonna name it Zydeco. That's the name of this music, Zydeco music. Okay? That was, no, it was a guy named Clifton Chenier. Okay. Yeah, he named it Zydeco. When I got my band, Chubby Carey and the Bayou Swamp Band, I got a 5-piece band. And then, like I said, I grew up in the 70s and I started liking the funk. So I incorporated horns in my band. And I was like known as the James Brown of Zydeco because I had the horn players. Because, you know, the era is changing. It's the 70s. And the 70s was nothing but horns. And I said, I need to change my genre of music because, you know, Dad and them did it with just the accordion, the washboard, and the drums, the fiddle. I wanted to incorporate more into my music. And that sound all came to be different. But you know what? Different is good. And it took me places. I traveled 275 dates on the road, all over the United States, Canada, Europe, with my style of music. And I was a full-time musician. I get to travel the world and do something I love. That was my passion. It came from my heritage, you know, it came from my family, and I wanted to do more with it. And I was spreading Zydeco music all over the world when people didn't even know what this instrument was. We walking in Chicago with this thing on our back, and these people going, hey, look at that dude. That's weird. What's up with that dude? Is that, you know, Chicago is not that bad. You got to walk around with this bulletproof vest. You know? I said, oh, man, just come on, follow me to the Zydeco, man. And then it's like they get in the club, and it goes, whoa, this is great. I ain't never seen this kind of instrument before, man. This is fantastic, you know?
We want to talk about Rockaway now. Rockaway, Rockaway. Rockaway, Rockaway. Rockaway,
C'était pas nommé plus que ça voulait un coteau, tu connais, ça appelle ça des coteaux.
In western Louisiana, the Cajuns' black neighbors began absorbing the music and developed a strand of their own called Zydeco.
The Creole music has a little bit of more syncopated rhythms. The lyrics are usually a little bit different. They just call it French music or la-la or something like that, and later on the word Zydeco got coined.
The most prominent Zydeco musician to surface this past century was Clifton Chenier. His blend of urban blues and Cajun accordion music could drive dancers wild.
I went up and I introduced myself to Clifton and said, my name is Mark Savoy. And he said, what do you do? I said, I have a music store in Eunice and, you know, I service accordions. He said, I've been wanting to find somebody who can tune my keyboard accordion. He said, can you do that? I said, yeah. Sure enough, the following week, you know, here comes Clifton in his big pink Cadillac with the big tail fins. And to figure out what was wrong with the accordion, you know, I had to play, and I played the keyboard accordion a little bit. So I'd put him, strap on his big old heavy 40-pound keyboard accordion, you know, to see what needed to be done to the tuning. And I'd play this one tune that I called a Eunice two-step, and Clifton would call it, instead of calling it a Eunice two-step, he'd call it Joli Catin. He'd laugh at the way I'd play this, you know, because I played it the white honky way, I guess, you know, compared to the way he played it. So he told me, he said, I'm playing tonight, he said, in Cancton at Jay's Lounge. He said, you got to come, and he said, come meet me. So I drove all the way over there, and I sat down, and here's Clifton Chenier. And I thought, man, this guy here playing this keyboard accordion, what planet did he come from? You know, where in the world is this genius from?
We want to bring on a young man, started out in 1955, worked his way from Louisiana to the Eiffel Tower. The one and only Mr. Accordion, man who can do more with accordion than a monkey can a damn coconut, and that ain't no lie. Clifton Chenier. Let's have it for Clifton Chenier. I'm a hawk for you, baby. And I'm roaming around your door. I'm a hawk for you, baby. And I'm roaming around your door.
Clifton Chenier, I can just imagine what his life was like, you know, growing up and playing in the juke joints around Texas and Louisiana. I think just the sight of him was just amazing, you know, and just the way he sang and played the blues and the way he played the accordion. Clifton was definitely the king of Zydeco. He pioneered modern Zydeco music. I think he will always be king.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty. Wake up, all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it now, just you and me.